in a world awash in uncertainty.
That makes me
Are you
so
triggered?
I am very triggered.
I almost said Bryan Adams.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Bryan
You can thank
Adams.
Bryan Adams, too.
Straight
I
from
get
the
it.
heart.
And we're gonna take it to the McMahons.
But Sinbad apparently never made a Shazam movie.
What?
Your anus.
I just wouldn't notice.
Two brave heroes take on all things action.
Hi guys, welcome to another great edition of All Things Action Video Cast. As always, I'm Dad, aka Aaron, and with me again is...
Raiden and Dad.
That's right, Raiden's laughing because I just botched the intro before this one and I said, I'm Dad, aka Raiden. So, it happens. It's that's just how life works sometimes, so... Besides that, Bear, how are you?
Good.
So pretty much from the time you got home from school on Friday until now, you've just been playing Fortnite
Pretty much.
constantly, besides a few soccer games here and there.
Yeah.
So what's going on in Fortnite?
So...
Since you wanted to talk all Fortnite all the time.
They-
We won't, though. Just this segment.
They, as you know, Fortnite Season 7 is here.
Okay.
So,
So what's significant about Season 7?
you get to fly airplanes.
Yeah, and? Is there something happening right now?
No, not really.
No? The map's just normal?
The map has changed just because there's snowy areas.
Okay, there's snow in Fortnite. That's kind of a big thing, right?
Yeah.
No? Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm not a
A little bit.
10-year-old kid, so I don't know.
It's a little bit, but...
Oh, man. Awesome. See? I told you Fortnite really isn't that fun to talk about.
Alright.
Yeah. It's just not. It's not. So, big things are coming down the pike, guys. As far as the trailers are concerned and movies are concerned. So this week, you've got the Deadpool movie coming out.
What Deadpool? The Once Upon a Deadpool?
Yeah, Once Upon a Deadpool is coming out finally. Which is, if people don't understand what that is,
It's
somebody at work was asking me about it. It's the PG-13 version of Deadpool 2. Yeah, so, you know, if you haven't seen Deadpool 2 and you have some kids that aren't adverse to watching kind of graphic movies, it might be fun to take them to, especially since they have Fred Savage kind of reprising his role from The Princess Bride when the kid is hearing the story from the grandpa. So, besides that, though, the biggest thing, obviously, is the Avengers Endgame.
Which
Avengers
is number 4.
Endgame is what it's currently titled, and the trailer just dropped. So, are you excited about Endgame?
Yeah.
Did you get to see that trailer?
No, not really.
Should we watch it right now?
Yes. And for those of you at home, we will display it for you, hopefully.
That's what we're going to do right now. Yes.
This thing on? Hey, Miss Potts. If you find this recording, don't feel bad about this. Part of the journey is the end. Just for the record, being adrift in space with zero promise of rescue is more fun than it sounds. Food and water ran out 4 days ago. Oxygen will run out tomorrow morning. That'll be it. When I drift off, I will dream about you. It's always you.
So obviously, this is going to be a very Tony Stark-driven movie.
What is that?
That's Thanos' gear. You gotta read the Infinity War book because that's exactly what it comes from.
50%
90% of all living creatures.
We lost. All of us. You lost friends. You lost family. We lost a part of
Deal
ourselves.
of Hawkeye, he is still alive, and for some reason he looks ridiculously different. No arrow in sight, just a big ass blade.
Because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't.
Dad,
Yeah.
remember that video you did, the reality of it all?
Yeah.
Justice League?
Yeah.
Endgame.
And obviously it shows a little teaser here at the end.
This is Scott Lang. We met a few years ago at the airport in Germany. Got shot really big.
Is this an old message?
Why?
Ant-Man. I know you know that.
Because he didn't realize that Ant-Man was still alive. Coming out in April, folks. So we still have a little bit of time before that actually happens, but it's still pretty awesome to think that we're knocking on the door right now for the next movie. Captain Marvel comes out, I think, in February.
My birthday month!
And so yeah, you're gonna get a lot of great movies here coming up.
Wait, do you know what day it's gonna be
Aquaman's
on?
right around the corner, right? So I'm not sure exactly. We'd have to.
If it's on February 2nd, that's gonna be weird, but also kind of cool.
Well, all right. So, are you excited about this? I mean, we're gonna get to see kind of the second half of the Marvel Avengers with Thanos and see how that all shakes out.
Yeah.
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 Any other thoughts?
No, not really.
No, not really. Just looking forward to it.
Yeah.
You excited
Yeah.
for Aquaman?
Yeah.
Sounds like Aquaman has been very well received by critics.
How come
That's-
critics get to see it first?
Because they have to let people know. In the old days, critics used to play a big role as far as how people viewed movies. Now, not so much, but it's still kind of part of the tradition. And so critics go and they watch the movie and they let everybody know what they thought of the movie and whether they should waste their money on it or not. So it's,
So does Aquaman seem like the critics liked it?
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, some people are saying that it's the best movie since The Dark Knight. So that's kind of cool. We'll see. Jason Momoa has a lot of hype to live up to. He's kind of the next big guy. Did you know that Momoa actually auditioned to play Bruce Wayne at one point?
Really?
Yeah.
So he
That would
could
have
have
been
been
crazy,
a Batman?
huh? Yeah, he could have been the Batman. So.
And he seems like he's into it.
Yeah, well, he's very into it, Raiden. He's one of those guys who he's kind of like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who they really embrace the macho guy role, the machismo. So, pretty exciting.
And like Drax.
Yeah, Dave Bautista. He likes playing those macho roles, right? So.
Yeah.
He actually is in a lot of movies that kind of go under the radar. So there's one that's called Heist that's actually pretty damn good, and I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that he's in.
Well,
Those you'll find for free on any of the platforms that do movies and stuff like that. So yeah, if you want to check out a cool kind of movie, Heist, and Marauders, that's the other one that's kind of cool with him in it. So.
and also you have Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, sure, yeah. But Guardians of the Galaxy isn't free,
Yeah.
right?
But,
I'm just saying, if people wanted to see Dave Bautista act in something other than Guardians of the Galaxy, they'd have a place to go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, by the time this airs, who knows? The rumor is that Spider-Man: Far From Home, the trailer may be dropping here any day now. So, hopefully by the next episode, we'll be talking about that. pretty exciting, right?
See it already.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. So,
it could drop at any moment. It could drop right now, later.
Sure. We don't have that exclusive though. Raiden, a lot of big news coming from space, like as far as space travel goes. So things have kind of kicked into the next gear with this. The Falcon program with SpaceX, Elon Musk's company.
Private company.
I believe that they said the Falcon 9 had 20 successful missions to space and back over the course of 2018. That's pretty impressive. You think about
2018.
Yeah, 28 over this last year, they've done 20 successful missions with the same rocket. Now, if you guys have been paying attention to what's going on with that whole thing, unfortunately, it didn't come out unscathed. The Falcon 9 actually had a mislanding just at the end of the month, or at the beginning of the month here, but they actually said that the rocket was not destroyed. They'll be able to reuse it. There's video out there. It's not, you can't see the whole thing, but you see the rocket kind of coming back down, and then at some point it veers a little bit, and it just kind of keeps sliding down that way. And I guess it finally just kind of came to a rest on its belly. So,
Was there anyone in that rocket?
Nobody was in that. Nope, nobody was in that. Nobody was hurt. The rocket did not explode. It just sustained a little bit of damage. You'd kind of figured that it would.
Yeah.
And these are the things that they're going to have to kind of work around as they get ready to go. And it sounds like in January, SpaceX may be starting to take the first manned missions up to the International Space Center and kind of doing the whole orbiting the Earth and bringing people back down. We've got the rover that's going to be in the works here pretty soon. That's going to be launching. We already have the probe that's on Mars. It's taking some pretty awesome pictures, and actually they did a live stream this last week, and they got to hear the winds on Mars.
How were the winds? Were they not so?
They said that it was about 15 to 20 mile per hour winds.
So
it's kind of like what we get here. I kind of forget sometimes that other planets are out there, and they also have the same kind of atmospherics that we do.
Yeah.
So Mars actually has wind on it, and you just kind of forget about that. So.
And also Mars is probably the next closest planet, I would say, to being Earth. Without being Earth, it would be Mars. Because
there's a very, very real possibility, Raiden, that in your lifetime there will be colonies on Mars, and they'll actually be starting to terraform and flourish, and who knows. It's very cool to think that we may be inhabiting 2 planets at some point.
Yeah.
So, and space travel is just getting better. And so one of the other things is a lot of times we're in America, and a lot of times you kind of think, oh, we're the only ones doing space travel, or we're the only ones that are sending things into outer space. That is not true at all. There's
because
other
Russia
countries
does
doing
it.
Yep, Russia, China, Japan. Japan's actually sending a probe to the backside of the moon.
Backside?
Yep,
You mean like the dark
side? The dark
side?
side of the moon. So they're going to be doing some studies out there, and so it's super cool to think like there's other people involved, and at some point we're going to get that parody of the USS Enterprise, where everybody kind of works together in one commonality, and NASA's working with the other places, and it's happened before, obviously.
It wouldn't be
the cosmonauts and Sputnik and all that stuff. There's joint ventures happening all the time. International Space Station. That's the reason why it's called the ISS, because it is international. It's not just the United States Space Station.
And
it's not the Russia Space Station, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. Other people get together and do things up there, which is kind of neat.
International means like not just one nation.
Right.
Or national, as it says. It's like you can have people in Japan, China, Russia, US, anyone.
Well, Raiden.
Pretty much.
Yeah. One thing that is kind of interesting, though, is a while back there was a foreign object that came through our solar system, and
it didn't hit us, right?
No, but it was one of the first documented things from deep space to actually enter our solar system and leave. And that I'm going to butcher the name, but the comet-like structure was called Umau. So
that seems like
yeah.
Umamam.
Yeah.
Is how you say it, I believe.
Yeah. So it's this was this cigar-shaped rock-looking thing that was flying through, and I guess it comes from, the name comes from Hawaiian lore. Let me see if I can pull up what it actually means here. Messenger from afar arriving first. That's what the name of it actually means. And so, if you were to kind of
piece that together.
Yeah, piece that together. Well, here's what's really strange. Is some scientists are saying that this thing had such a weird trajectory, and then once it started leaving our solar system, it actually changed its trajectory and its course, which is not something typical of what you see of just an object that kind of floats through our atmosphere.
Yeah,
so,
you don't see a meteor or whatever. A meteor go, and then right before it enters our atmosphere, it goes.
Kind of switch directions, huh?
Yeah. So
that's what they're saying. Not they. That's what a few scientists are saying, is that this thing actually could have been a UFO. And one of the things that I will ask you, sir, is if you were an alien and you studied a planet for long enough, but you wanted to get a closer look, and you knew that the things that were on the planet recognized different ships. So obviously at this point everyone's pretty knowledgeable about what the typical UFO looks like, right?
Yeah.
Typical UFO looks like a flying saucer.
Like a plane.
Where it has a lot of lights, right? Things flashing. So if you wanted to study us closer, wouldn't it be smart to make it look like something that we'd find in everyday life, like a piece of rock?
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty smart alien, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think we've got some aliens flying by and checking us out?
Yeah, but my question is, you said it was shaped like a cigar, right?
Kind of, yeah. Kind of a thin, bladey looking thing. Yeah.
Kind of like a knife or a sword. Like
sure.
a small sword
like
or
a flying
knife.
sword or something, yeah. Oh, it wasn't small. They said it was 400 meters by 40 meters.
Is that big?
Well, a meter's 3 foot.
So, yes.
So it's like 1,200 foot
wide.
Yeah. By 120 foot
wide?
Yeah. That's a big thing. It's a very big thing.
So I would say like a big knife or a big sword is what it's like.
Yeah. So it's a decent sized thing. So what are your thoughts? I mean, are you worried about someone's checking us out and going back to tell their planet what they saw here?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, we have been sending things out into space for years now.
Yeah.
And it's not just us, many different continent.
Countries?
Countries, yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, like a few, like in season 1, in this one before it, we talked about like so many things about how we're not the only ones.
I think you guys like that idea.
Yeah, because how would Earth, this big giant planet, when it's not big, but it's kind of big planet that we're on, only develop life here? That I don't understand.
Sure, I think you're onto something. I think one of the things that you have to think about, though, that's probably the bigger question now, is what do we do when we find life on a different planet?
Well,
So this is the thing that's kind of crazy is. So I was watching Alien, this movie, the original.
oh
Alien.
yeah, the
Yeah.
one with the space whatever.
Yeah. And so what happens is the guy gets attacked by something called a face hugger, and it goes to his face. They drag him back into the ship, and they have this place in the ship where you're not quite in the ship, but you are in the ship, and it's called like docking or quarantine.
Yeah.
And so basically what happens is if you have something foreign on you, you have to stay in that thing for like 24 to 48 hours. Well, Ash the android decided to let him in. And the reason why is because he was given direct orders by the Wayland Corp, who sent these guys out, that if you find anything foreign, you need to study it. And so unfortunately, bad things happen because he let that thing in. So that's what's kind of scary is if we do find something, what do you do with it? You have even the smallest, most minute thing could have serious repercussions on the human race. You think about this. When the white people from the countries we came from, came to North America, the Native Americans had a lot of deaths because of diseases
Like
and
measles
bacteria and stuff like that we brought over from our other countries. They weren't ready for that. So think about that. If something as small as, like you said, the measles, because that's something that you just get, from contact with somebody who has it, right? You can't see measles. It's not like measles walks up and goes, like that, right?
Like the face hugger.
Right. It just goes, and it spreads to you, right?
Yeah.
That's scary. So what if you collect a spore from a speck of dust or a little spot on the ground, and you bring it back and it winds up killing half of the planet because it was a foreign object that was deadly to us without us really knowing. How do you deal with all this? It's crazy.
Know.
Yeah. It's a lot to think about, right?
Yeah.
So these are the things, and so that adversely, we're starting to send packages up to space, like
ISS.
for study. And like the last one that they sent was like 1,000 worms. And they're going to study worms in outer space.
Why?
Well, because they want to see the effects of like how space interacts with something like a worm, that has hearts and it does breathe through its body and stuff like that. All things that we're going to be doing, right?
Yeah. But that's
what happens if one of those worms gets onto another planet and causes damage to that ecosystem, right?
Yeah, but when in a worm,
and I'm obviously giving just hypotheticals here.
why would we send worms? That doesn't seem very smart at all.
We've sent chimps.
With chimpanzees, I can see.
We've sent dogs.
Yeah, because they are the closest thing to us.
You think so?
Chimps, gorillas.
What about pigs?
Pigs. Pigs, I wouldn't say is close to us that much. I'm not saying we're not close to them at all. I'm just saying we're not really close to them specifically.
Yeah.
But
you don't see how worms really fit into it?
No.
We study stuff like that all the time. I'm sure they've sent just about everything up there. Snakes and eggs and all sorts of stuff,
because, again, we could be coming from chimpanzees.
We could.
Or gorillas. Just think.
Or something that was in a cigar-shaped rock.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
Well,
knows?
that's more like I would say either like a meteorite killing bacteria that transforms stuff, like gorillas turn into us, kind of.
That's evolution,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, I know.
So.
And this.
All right, we're getting way too deep here. We're getting way too deep. We could keep going forever on this. I think this is a good stopping point, right?
Yeah. And
we're getting things back to normal. Guys, we're ending the end of the year here, the end of 2018. So.
And the end of the season.
Yeah, the end of the season's coming up very close. I think this is episode 15.
So one
which means
more.
technically the next episode's the last episode of the season, which will probably make that, and then we'll do a Christmas episode.
We'll do an exclusive, like a first Christmas episode ever on this show.
And I think we're actually getting close to our 1 year anniversary of doing this. So we'll have to see when our actual first post was and everything. So
yeah, I would check that.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
Yeah. So you got anything else for the kids?
The people, no.
Okay. Well, then I'm ready to get off this soapbox and get back to living. And, all right, guys, until next week, for All Things Action Video Cast, this has been Dad, a.k.a. Aaron, not Raiden, Aaron. And with me,
Raiden, a.k.a. the bear.
not Dad. So, guys, have a great week, and we will see you next week for our final episode of Season 2. Wow. Bye, guys.
Bye!